let it drop. Let it drop.
Hello and welcome to From Change to Change. I am Consuela Gaines, better known as Sway, and today we are going to talk about our Fair Chance Amendment campaign. We have very special guests with us today, starting with our fantabulous member, Kevin Delcourt. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing okay. How are you, Sway?
I'm doing
Thanks
pretty
for
good.
having me again.
Thank you for keep coming back.
Not a
And
problem.
you brought some folks with you today. Could you introduce them to everyone, please?
Sure. Actually, this is Miss Ladeva, and this is Mr. Gray. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm Ladeva Francis from Lafayette, and I'm happy to be here. So thanks for the invite.
Thanks for coming.
My name is Robin Gray from Lafayette, Louisiana. I'm happy to be here too today.
Awesome.
They're clients of Justice Reform Initiative. They've come to our clinic and received expungements recently. Mr. Gray. Mr.
That's
Gray.
awesome.
Yeah. Mr. Gray, recently, a couple days ago, I believe, or maybe last week, sometime, the judge,
Friday.
the judge signed his expungement motion. Ms. Ladeva and her husband, they were successful in having their expungement, which I'll let them tell their stories, because, again, this is about removing barriers, which ties into our, fair chance
Yes.
reentry initiative.
Yes. So our Fair Chance Amendment campaign that we've kicked off here in Lafayette, you want to tell folks what we're trying to do here in the city of Lafayette?
Sure. The Fair Chance Hiring Initiative, but basically it's a national campaign, but we're bringing it home to the Acadiana area. And I'm happy to be on the committee with Vote, where we're trying to push forward this initiative in the parish. And what this initiative is, it's a city or a parish initiative where, for instance, it's created to remove barriers for people with criminal records, where, for instance, in an application, they don't have to mention about their criminal record, or the criminal record will not be pulled up until the second interview. That way the employer has a basic look about the person's skill and not their record.
So how was it hard for you to find employment when you came home from prison?
Actually, it was. My wife and I, we owned like 7 businesses, and with my incarceration, there was some of the business we lost, but my wife maintained, some of those businesses. So when I got back, that I can just kind of fall into it. When I first came home, I didn't want to get back into the business because I was an inmate counsel while I was in prison.
Jailhouse lawyer.
Yes, we both were. And I was able to reverse 7 life sentences and reduce about 30 people's sentences so that they can get home early. So that was my push. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do the paralegal thing. That's what I wanted to do. So actually, I started writing my resumes to companies like about 4 months before I was going to be released. I was just sending them resumes because while I was at Hunt's, I worked with an attorney called Joseph Long, and all he did was sue the prisons.
Right.
And I was his paralegal and I would do the investigation for him while I was in prison. So one of the big issues that we had solved, we got an injunction from the federal courts. The Department of Corrections was not giving the Hep C treatment to the inmates, and we lost about 100 or so, right? And we finally won, and the federal judge gave an injunction. So that feeling of winning, and don't get me wrong, I lost more cases than I won. I lost a lot of cases. But that feeling of helping people and helping dictate change, that's what I wanted to do when I came home. So I started filling out applications to be people's paralegal, whether it was personal injury or criminal, and crickets. Until I started working with the advocacy group, Justice and Accountability Center in New Orleans. I was their paralegal for a couple of years and learned the expungement area of law. Their budget got a little short, and they could not take any more cases in Lafayette. And there was a service, and that was lacking here. I was getting phone calls from judges, from legislatures, because
So there's a high need for
here in this area,
the work, the expungement.
yes. So thus came Justice Reform Initiative. But back to your original question, yeah, those barriers were there. I had people that I was incarcerated with. It was really, really hard for them to come home. And when they got home, it was hard for them to get a job. So the barriers were there. I was just fortunate because I've been married for, it'll be 32 years in August. So, we had a house, we had things that my wife maintained until I got home. So I didn't have those problems. I consider myself fortunate. So what I try to do is just reach back on those that are less fortunate, because I understand how it is.
Okay. I mean, that's important. So, Ms. Ladeva, prior to your expungement, what was happening? What was going on?
Well, first off, we had charges from way in the 90s, the early parts of the 90s. And my husband has a little small trucking company in which there is places like ports he cannot go to behind his criminal record. And as for myself, I was trying to get into like the medical field at one point. That was a barrier. Management positions was a barrier behind that. And the last but not least of my journey is trying to get my insurance license, and that was shut down behind my record. So from there, Justice Reform Initiative helped me, help myself and my husband get our expungements, like all the paperwork, but we had to go out and do the footwork, which is a good experience, you at least know how it goes. So sometimes it can be tough. Sometimes they will give you the runaround, but don't give up, because if you give up, you won't accomplish what you want. So if you really want something in life, you're going to continue till you get what you need.
Right.
So we have like 60 between us, me and Reginald.
You had 16
I had
charges, 16
charges total.
expungement motions that had to be taken care of.
Yes.
Wow.
16.
Yeah. Okay.
And we never gave up. We had like different parishes: Calcasieu Parish, Lafayette Parish, Lafayette City Parish, City Court, and Acadia Parish. So yeah, we had to deal with all of that, but thank God we went through it. We pressed, we didn't give up, and I suggest no one else give up. You know what I'm saying? So that's the right direction and a better future.
Okay.
What about the payment?
Oh, yes, I can't forget about that. Well, years ago we was trying to get our expungements, right? And I spoke to some attorneys. Some wanted $8,000, and that's not included the IFP, right? IFPs is like $500 a piece, so we saved like $8,800, $8,800, okay, if not better. But yeah, some attorneys wanted 8,000, 20,000. So we saved a lot of money, a lot of money.
Yeah.
And obviously, you guys didn't have the money because of the
Yes,
barriers. And
the barriers,
there was no
correct.
work.
Correct, yeah. So, I mean, had we not had those barriers to make the proper money that we could have made, or the amount of money we could have made, you know, we would be glad to pay it, you know, if needed.
Right.
So, but
So you guys were dealing with some charges that were over 30 years old.
oh, yeah.
You're no longer on paper, you're not on probation or parole, and you were still having issues with finding gainful employment
That's right.
because of your record.
Yes.
That is crazy.
And some of the charges, they were arrests.
They were only arrests. Some
Well,
of
there
them
were
arrests.
some convictions,
Yes.
but most of the charges, 80% of those charges were arrests.
Wow. That is crazy. What about you, Robert? What was going on before you got this wonderful expungement?
Well, just trying to get in the system, like always, you know, trying to just advance. And I was right at the door of getting the job that I really wanted it. And I mean, just came to a halt, dry stop.
So you
From my background.
So you were, like you said, it was a job you were trying to get. A dream job, the one you wanted.
Yes, indeed.
You put in you got all your training and everything that you needed. And then you get there and they say no because of your record.
Because of my record, like 32 years? Yeah.
A 32-year charge.
Yep. I'm right around
Wow.
there. Yep. The early 90s.
For something that's collecting dust now.
Yes.
And basically, when it was supposed to be expunged, like I was telling Ms. Ladeva earlier, that when I did time and when I got out and after it was all said and done, after probation, this and that, the lawyer was supposed to expunge it, and come to find out, it wasn't.
Wow. So that happens a lot. You know, attorneys say that they're expunging people's records, and that doesn't necessarily happen.
And it was a paid lawyer, too.
Wow. So I have to get his name. Make sure we know. You know, but yeah, that's a must-know name. So, and this is kind of why it's so important for this Fair Chance Amendment campaign here in Lafayette, because, you know, we want to be able to open doors for people to be able to gain employment, who have arrests or records, you know. So, and that's why it's important for people like you guys, you know, to share your stories, because there are thousands of people just like y'all in the same predicament who is trying to live their lives, trying to get, you know, some good jobs.
Yes.
That you're qualified
Fair
for,
chances, yeah.
went to school for, and did everything you needed to do, and you got the education, but because of your records, it still holds you back.
Yes.
And if in Mr. Gray's case, he did his time.
Right.
Did his time.
Right. You're right.
And you know, the FCA is it's going to touch so many people's lives here in Lafayette, because this happens too much
Yeah.
to people with arrests
Right.
and felony convictions, and those doors get slammed. But we need people to realize and know that your past should not dictate your future. You're not your worst mistakes. That people change.
Yes, exactly.
People age
change.
out of crime, you know, and you guys were younger.
Yes, that's when a lot of crimes happen when you're young.
Yes.
Young and gullible. So you don't know
Yes.
life. You want to experience everything. You want to try this. You're hot tempered and everything. You know, so that's when you get all the charges.
Yeah.
But then when you get of a certain age and ready to live your life properly, and make a future for your family. Exactly. You run into the problems, and those are the problems you run into.
Right.
You know, I had some charges that was with, like the ones way in the 90s, they had to go and look for. So I had to wait for 2 weeks because that was not
They were just that old.
That old.
They were literally, you said in the archives.
Yeah, they were not
Archives,
in the
yeah.
system. They had to go in the archives to get them.
The
They had to
literal
dig
big
them out of a
books.
box.
The big books.
Dust
Yeah.
them off,
Yeah.
literally, because
So big books.
they weren't even on the computers, in the computer
Back a
system.
certain, then it's
Yes.
back in.
See, to me, those should be automatically expunged if
I
they're
agree.
that old.
Just I know, huh?
They're that old.
You would think.
And if they're charges that qualify for expungements, they should be automatic. We got to work on that, Catherine. We got to work on that.
That's a good idea, because I mean,
You know, I those barriers, and thank goodness that both of them were maturing, and to the point where they didn't allow this to create any recidivism for them.
Right.
Because we know that the number one instability that creates recidivism is someone being unemployed.
Yeah.
You know, that's the mainstay of keeping someone from going back.
Right. Right.
And it keeps our community safe. It stabilizes the family. And again, in our conversations that we would have, Sway, about the economic impact from hiring formerly incarcerated people or justice impacted people.
Yes.
Because what happens, that all they, instead of being supported, they contribute to the tax pool, like you were mentioning.
Right.
It's an economic success for the state if that happens.
right, right. And you would think they would want that, right?
Right.
You would think they would want that. So, but we have a clinic coming up in August in St. Martin Parish. So, anybody who needs to come, they need to contact, look us up, Facebook, the Justice Reform Initiative, and they should have all the information to contact, for the clinics.
Right.
So, in which I'm happy to say that I volunteered. So I love it, and I like to see the fact that others are able to have a change in their life as well. So.
And there are local governments that are on board for second chances. Cause I have to say a thanks to Mayor Jason Willis in St. Martinsville, who partnered up, and also the city council. They're partnering up with us for this clinic, and they believe in second chances for their citizens and citizens up.
Right.
Well, I hope more people see this and really pay attention to the fact that this does help the economy. When you are employing people, providing second chances or third or fourth chances, these folks are then able to work. And when you work, what do you do when you work? You spend money.
Yes.
Right.
So you get a
And when
you get a
have it to
home.
stimulate, you gotta take it.
Exactly.
When you can get
It
what you want.
lowers
You're
the
happy.
crime rate.
Right.
There's no reason for you to commit crimes
right.
if you're employed.
Right.
Stabilizes.
It makes
Exactly.
perfectly good sense.
It does.
So what should people learn from your journey that you went through with expungements?
Don't give up. You're gonna run into obstacles. Don't give up. And not only that, they might try to, blow smoke, but continue. Don't give up. And in the process, you have people helping you. Helping you, walking you through the process. So if there's a block and you're not sure if to just let it be, because when I first, for my insurance, they told me they couldn't find it. So if I'd have just left it at that, I wouldn't be here today talking about my expungements, right?
Right.
So I made them. I had to tell them, well, go ahead, because eventually something had to happen, right? So, because the state, the insurance commissioner, they wanted like some kind of proof and all of that, right? So they claimed they couldn't, but they had to at least write a letter. But that for me wasn't good enough. that wasn't good enough for me.
You
I
stay
was
persistent.
Yes, wipe the slate clean.
Yes.
You know, wipe it clean, because I'm not the kid no more like I used to be, that I once was. But I, can't hide all them charges. But don't give up. And when they say, they can't find it, tell them, yes, y'all have to, because there are laws, And then, of course, our head man, he knows all the laws.
That would be you, Kevin.
I just read. I mean, I just direct people to the
he
law.
know all the laws,
I just
Yes.
I just direct them to the law. That's what I do.
And thank God for that, because, not one person can do everything.
Right.
So, a team, you can get a lot done with a team.
Exactly. So we need people like you guys and so many more that's out there watching this show to, join this campaign, share your stories. We know that there are thousands of people here in Lafayette and the surrounding areas who have been unfortunate.
Right.
They, they can't afford the expungements to begin with. And then they're dealing with these records that's holding them back, keeping them in little measly jobs that don't allow for promotions or raises or anything like that. And so, that's why it's important for us to build up this campaign so more people can share their stories and we are able to eliminate this so that our folks are able to get to work. That's all folks want to do, is get to work and be able to enjoy their life.
And for this campaign for fair chance hiring, I would say, if anyone wants to get involved, please contact your city councilman. You can write a letter, get more involved in coming to Talk with Vote. There's monthly meetings on this. The research is basically already done. There's just a few more prep stages, but again, we have to get this passed in the city council, and it will take the community to help us do that. Show up at the meetings, talk to your council member, and remember, it's about economics. Once you hire someone who's just as impacted, again, they contribute to the tax base.
That's it.
Right?
Yep.
And that'll be more people that's getting off the SNAP program. More people that's getting off, the welfare program.
Because that is very limiting.
Or for housing programs and things like that.
Exactly.
Those are some things, because, I mean, if you have a record in a lot of apartments and some housing, you have background check. You're not gonna,
in housing as well.
and a lot of homelessness can be
Results from
It comes back. It will combat homelessness. So I mean, it catches so many different areas.
Exactly.
It prevents a lot of harms in the community, with providing folks an opportunity for employment. It will prevent so much homelessness, crime.
Yes.
So I mean, it just makes sense.
It is common sense.
It's common sense. It is absolutely common sense. And we would love to have you guys join us. We'll be conducting listening sessions probably for the next 10 months or so all over Lafayette, talking to people about this and, providing a space for them to ask questions of how they can get involved and what they need to do to help move this campaign forward so we can actually get that amendment passed here in Lafayette.
Sounds good.
So yeah, we'll be busy, and we need as many soldiers in this fight as we can possibly get.
Praise God, where's
Yes.
God, the soldiers. And thank you guys so much for sharing your stories with us.
anytime.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Thanks to the
Never ever give
Spaces
up.
never.
And that we love to end on this note. We love to end on the no surrender, no retreat.
Right.
Right? So when I say no surrender, you say no retreat. All right?
Right.
No surrender,
No retreat.